The battle to see who will emerge atop of the throne. The throne wars has officially begun. Zee-ha-ha-ha-ha! So thanks to chapter 925 of One Piece, we got a lot of information that, in my opinion, sets up a few confrontations during and after Wano. Obviously, we got it confirmed, thanks to Teach, that the Revolutionary Army did clash with the Admirals, Green Ball, and Fujitora. I mentioned the Kizaru, but I wouldn't be surprised if he showed up on Wano. I said that during my review. But this really isn't about, it's going to be intertwined with Wano because my two-part discussion is going to be about the Yonkou and something else that was kind of like hinted at and theorized because of what Mihawk said at the beginning of chapter 925 when he was talking to Perona, is the possibility of the Shichibukai system being abolished. Therefore, these 7 warlords will go rogue. So I'm going to tell you how things may intertwine with the Yonkou, and I'm going to tell you how maybe we could get another war that was, if it's inevitable to happen, the war between the 7 warlords and the world government. Let's start off what we know currently about the Yonkou. Right now, after chapter 925, each of the 4 emperors are in play. Blackbeard, Shanks, and Kaido, and of course, Big Mom. And I say kind of Shanks when it comes because we saw him at the Reverie, but that obviously Blackbeard being the latest in chapter 925, we finally got him revealed post time skip, as well as the first of the current Yonkou and his bounty. Now we did get Big Mom's bounty back in a flashback, but we don't really know what her current bounty is right now. What we do know is Blackbeard Marshall D. Teach currently stands at the highest bounty of One Piece, 2,247,600,000 billion berry bounty. So that's the highest bounty. Obviously, we should have expected one of the Yonkou, if not all of them, to surpass Luffy. That was just bound to happen. But in my opinion, obviously, we have the other 3 emperors, which we don't really know about their bounties. God only knows how much Kaido and Shanks are worth. Again, this really is to out the Yonkou may intertwine with one another. Obviously, Kaido currently we're on Wano. Big Mom in the previous arc, she definitely stated that she warned Kaido not to do anything to Luffy because obviously she's got unfinished business to set with the Straw Hats because of what happened on Whole Cake Island. So she warned Kaido not to kill him or not to touch a hair on his head. His head is mine. And threatened to show up, which is why a lot of people theorize maybe she will show up. And we do know conclusively that Kaido and Big Mom were pretty much part of the same crew, the Rocks Pirates, back in the day. Whatever the reason, they went on their separate ways. Big Mom says, "You owe me one, Kaido." Kaido isn't going to listen to anybody, but things have changed because Kaido isn't looking to kill Luffy. He's looking to torture him, break his spirit, and make him his subordinate, even though we all know that's not going to happen, but that's what Kaido is positioning one of the Calamity's plague, Queen Plague, to do that dirty work so they can break Luffy and Kid. Not going to happen. That's where Kaido's mindset is up right now. He's looking to make Luffy a subordinate, seeing how he stood up to him and seeing how strong he is, quote unquote. So that's changed. So Kaido isn't going to allow Luffy to die yet. So that's one aspect of where a conflict could arise between Big Mom and Kaido. If Big Mom decides to show up, which I think she would, plus she would have to bring the rest of the Big Mom pirates into town, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But Big Mom could be a maybe. Right now, the other 2 emperors are a mystery. Blackbeard, we saw in chapter 925. We know what he's about. Him and the rest of the Blackbeard pirates going around hunting devil fruit users, stealing the devil fruits. We saw that with Shiryu. He now has the clear fruit that was previously in the clutches of Absalom, and now he's a corpse. So now let's say, for instance, that Big Mom does quote unquote show up at Wano, or in the middle of Wano or the end of Wano, regardless. You honestly think that Big Mom would, as powerful as she is, she knows the threat of Kaido. Do you think she'll show up solo? Like, she won't bring the rest of the Big Mom pirates into town? Like, no. Big Mom said to Luffy back in Whole Cake Island, you are never defeating that thing. Big Mom knows Kaido full well, so I don't think as strong as she is, she's stupid enough to go in alone. And another thing that was kind of a fight between Luffy and Katakuri in Whole Cake Island was Katakuri literally asked Luffy, "Will you return to Whole Cake Island in order and defeat
attack Big Mom? And Luffy says yes, because I'm going to become king of the pirates. Now, I've said this repeatedly. For time constraints, I don't think we're going to Whole Cake Island unless we find out that Jinbei and the rest of the Vinsmokes have been captured. So she would go into Wano herself with the rest of the Big Mom pirates to even up the playing field. So that would kind of bring Katakuri, Smoothie along. We didn't really see much of Smoothie when it comes to, I guess, Whole Cake Island. We saw a bit, but not much. Katakuri and Cracker, obviously Snack.
Kind of leaves a mystery, and it won't be beyond the realms of possibility. In fact, it's been theorized a lot over the past few years that maybe Blackbeard would show up at the end of Wano. And since he is after Devil Fruits, and if he's out looking for a Zoan, who better than to steal from Kaido? If in fact Kaido is going to fall at Wano, it may as well be at the hands of another Yonkou, because I can guarantee people are not going to like if Luffy manages to take down Kaido. It shouldn't happen yet. So that's another way you can cross that bridge without having too many complaints. Plus, you're making Blackbeard a total beast for the final of Raftel. So that's kind of cool if it sets that up. In fact, Wano is pretty much going to be, it was already been stated, and it's a possibility that Wano will surpass Marineford and make it seem like a walk in the park in comparison, when we know Marineford is one of the best arcs, if not the best arc in One Piece. Blackbeard could be, and the rest of the BB pirates could come into town and like, oh, we're here to cause some damage and we're here to take some Devil Fruits, much like Marshall D. Teach came in to deliver the final nail in the coffin, so to speak, to Whitebeard, another Yonkou, by the way. Still, he stole his Devil Fruit and became one of the biggest, if not the biggest threat in the world right now. With 2 Devil Fruits, he's the only Yonkou and the only character in One Piece who has the ability to obtain 2 Devil Fruits simultaneously. So why would it be against the possibility of him attaining a third? It would make sense since he has a Logia and a Paramecia. The only thing he would be looking for is a rare Zoan. Who better, like I said, than Kaido's? And can you imagine if Blackbeard does manage down the line to steal Kaido's Devil Fruit and he turns himself into a dragon? Holy crap! On top of the other 2 Devil Fruits he has, Nomi, and obviously the Yami Nomi, already in the position of Blackbeard. So Blackbeard and the Blackbeard Pirates could be a possibility for the ending of Wano to show up. That only leaves Shanks, and we saw him at the Revelry talking to the Gurusei, warning them about a certain pirate. Now we don't know which pirate that is. It could be Teach, it could be no, but we know that Shanks is in play, and he did look at the bounty of Luffy, so we know that for a fact. He knows what Luffy's, and I mentioned this before. It's kind of confirmed that Blackbeard kind of like hacked into communications with, when it came to like Big Mom and Kaido's conversation, because the Admirals and Akainu, they were talking about the confrontation between Big Mom and Kaido perhaps happening on Wano. They knew, they were aware, they hacked into the communication. The Admirals did it, the Marines did it easily. So we now know Blackbeard knows about this, because he stated, oh, there's a confrontation with a hot topic between Luffy and Kaido, and Big Mom is in hot pursuit. That wasn't done by design, okay? So Big Mom's going to show up at some point. Maybe it is on Wano, maybe after. Who's to say that Shanks didn't hack into that communication as well, and he's already aware of what's going on? If one Emperor is aware, you got to believe the rest of them are, because they have to know what's going on. There's a possibility, and I only say this because Shanks and Kaido do have a history and a connection, because before Marineford, Shanks confronted Kaido. We don't know how and what context, but we do know they had a confrontation before Wano, and Shanks showed up at Marineford unscathed. So that applies at some point. Maybe Kaido just backed off, maybe he didn't, but either way, Shanks made it to Marineford. So there's some unfinished business there. So Shanks knows about Kaido, and if he finds out that Luffy is going to challenge Kaido, I can honestly see Kaido showing up, Shanks showing up only because of what may happen. He may know what's going on with Blackbeard. So if Blackbeard shows up, Shanks could come up to like counteract whatever Blackbeard's about to do, whether he takes the Devil Fruit from Kaido or not. Because I think Shanks already knows the threat of Teach already, even pre-time skip. I mean, he got scars from Teach. That's been proven. He can be damaged. So Shanks doing something, and we know Shanks and Marco have been conversing. So he may know what's going on. Kind of like ties that itself up, but it's interesting. And another thing that could tie the Yonkou together is, well, these two of them, being Blackbeard and Big Mom. Now, we don't know if the other Yonkou are aware, and in fact, I don't think it's ever been stated that the other emperors are aware that Kaido and Big Mom are in possession of the Royal Poneglyph, because if Big Mom knew that Kaido was in possession of a Royal Poneglyph, I can definitely see Big Mom trying to show up and take that thing for herself, because look what happened before. I mean, Jinbei bought the Royal Poneglyph, and obviously we saw other Rio Poneglyphs that were in Whole Cake Island. We know that for a fact. It's not just the one. She's been gathering other poneglyphs of the world. She's looking to become king of the pirates. So if she's aware that Kaido's under possession of the other Royal Poneglyph, you can bet your ass Big Mom's going to show up at some point and take that for herself. She just has to. Now, Teach, that's a mystery, because we don't know if Teach is aware. If he's looking to become king of the pirates, you think he would go around looking for information about that. But is he aware that the Royal Poneglyphs are key to get into Raftel? So if he is, you would think at some point he would have to show up at Wano, or he can let the Straw Hats do the dirty work and then pull the trigger when he needs to. So that's another way to tie itself up. Shanks, of course, like I said, it's another way of counteracting Blackbeard. If he finds out about the Royal Poneglyph, you would think Shanks would be the first one to try and stop him, right? So yeah, I can. That's another way the Yonkou could be intertwined with one another, and it would all stem in Wano. Like I said, these is discussions of mine. These are theories of mine. These probably won't happen, but I have some things may play itself out because of information we already been aware of, and now confirmed after chapter 925. The Blackbeard pirates, they're looking for rare devil fruits. Okay, who's to say they're going to stop and chill at Beehive's Island? So that's another aspect. So have the Yonkou intertwined with Wano. So let me know what you guys think. Well, like I said, this is a two-part discussion. Now, when it comes to the warlords and the Shichibukai, that's kind of like a wild card, because it's implied, not confirmed, because of what Mihawk said to Perona, or said about Perona after she left Muggy Kingdom, when Mihawk was like, take care, it's probably best that you leave now. A lot of people theorize that maybe there's something happened to the Shichibukai system, because, oh, maybe it's a good thing you left. And we do know that Fujitora had this conversation with King Riku and King Cobra about this, and obviously there had to have been brought up at the Reverie. Maybe it was abolished, we don't know. It's not confirmed yet. So this is like a hypothetical theory right now, until things get confirmed. And we don't know how many acts they're going to be of Wano, but you can bet with each act that ends, we're right now in currently Act 2. So once that ends, you can be sure that Oda is going to go back to some portions of the Reverie and find out more of what's going on across the New World. So that's another way of Oda kind of like teasing us, but at the same time keeping us invested in Wano. At the same time, the world building aspect of what happened at the Reverie. So that's going to happen at some point. It turns out to be the case that the Shichibukai system are no longer a thing. That pretty much means that most, if not all of them, are going to go rogue. In fact, if you technically think about it, most of the warlords were technically doing their own thing anyway. In fact, most of them are labeled as former warlords, like Jinbei. He's with the Straw Hats. Obviously, he's the 10th Straw Hat once he gets to Wano. Obviously, Crocodile, he's going around the New World doing his own thing. So, and he's already aided Luffy kind of trying to rescue Ace back at Marineford. So why not? Crocodile. Plus, if he gets targeted by the government anyway, because I think that this is where it could lead. Targeted by the government because they're no longer under the Shichibukai system, so they're going to be a threat to the world government in their eyes. So they're going to be targeted. I mean, look at Doflamingo. I mean, my God, and I went back to chapter 906, and it's pretty much stated that he's on the 6th level, the obviously the worst level of Impel Down, and he literally states, "Are you protecting me, Magellan?" And because he knows that an assassin has arrived to take down Doflamingo, or to silence Doflamingo. So what he knows about the national treasure, which we could only assume is that giant straw hat we saw in chapter 906. Obviously, he knows a lot about the world government, the Gorosei, the Tenryubito, that they do not want getting out. So they want to end him So I can honestly, and I don't think Magellan's going to be the one to do anything, because it seems like he's doing this to make sure nothing bad happens to Doflamingo. So I don't think Magellan would do anything to Doflamingo himself unless he was ordered to. But like as we said, Doflamingo has way too much information and knowledge about the government to like just end him like there. So that's a question mark. But you can bet someone's going to show up to like bust him out of info down at some point. So obviously Kuma is right now, he's speaking about Marajoa, and right now he's pretty much a slave to the Tenryou Veto, which is why we've got the admirals clashing with the commanders of the Revolutionary Army. Now we don't know what transpired. They was looking for to infiltrate. Things change, and we're going to find out later down the road. But Kuma's a mystery. So, and he has a connection with the Strats too. So he could become an ally in the future if he gets repaired. We have to get introduced to Vegapunk at some point, who was responsible for all of this. So maybe Vegapunk could patch him up, and maybe he does obtain memories of helping the Straw Hats out, and maybe by default with the Revolutionary Army. Now we don't know what's going to happen to them, but we can honestly, who knows what's going to happen to Kuma? So that could be another wild card. Another thing is obviously Weevil, Whitebeard Jr. Obviously that's a fake thanks to Miss Bucking. We know she's a fraud. Obviously she has a connection with Whitebeard, which is why she's trying to implant in Weevil's head that he's Whitebeard Jr., his Whitebeard's son, which we know that's not the case at all, thanks to what we heard. Found out in chapter 909 with Marco and his conversation with Neko and Mushi. So that's that kind of like confirmed. So that's Weevil. So, but since he's kind of an idiot and he can be kind of like swayed, he's nothing but a pawn in all this, that Bucking is just taking advantage of him. He may end up as an ally by default because he doesn't know any better. So that could bring Weevil into this, and Weevil's been going around causing mayhem anyway. He's been going around trying to decimate the last remnants of the Whitebeard pirates, so that's causing the problem anyway. So, and if he's no longer a warlord, they may do something because they know. I mean, look at what Kizaru said. He's a problem. Okay, so if they're on the Shichibukai, go and try and take him out as well, because he'd be a problem down the road for the government. You see where everything is kind of falling into place here? Like Gecko Moria, in chapter 925, he had a confrontation with Blackbeard. We don't know what's going to happen to him. He may end up allying with Blackbeard, but what's going to happen after that? Is he going to kill him? Or is he going to be killed on Beehive's Island and have his Devil Fruit Stone just like Absalom? Another thing too, like I kind of found interesting, which I kind of wish I brought this up in the review and live reaction, but if Moria was going around looking for his crew, right, why didn't he go after looking for Perona? I mean, why? And how the hell did he know about Absalom being on Blackbeard's Island? So that's another thing that was never brought up, which I kind of hope does, because Perona is a part of the where Master Moria is. So if she finds Gecko Moria on Beehive's Island, if he turns out to be a subordinate of Blackbeard, that could imply a couple of interesting things, which I'll mention in a minute. But so that's Gecko Moria. So he may be an ally anyway. So he's going to come up, and by default, he may have the protection of the Blackbeard pirates, because if he's targeted too, he's a former warlord too. So there's more former warlords than there are official Shichibukai. Obviously, Mihawk, he's going to do something at some point. So if he gets targeted, I could definitely see him doing his own thing. But I could also see it somewhat of an alliance with him, since he's kind of like a stand-up guy. So that an interesting one would be Buggy, because technically right now he's sitting like a king, right? Because of him being a warlord. Oh, he's got some giants that left him. Now, if the government come after him, because that by default, whoever works for him. So, just like what happened in Marineford, it worked to his advantage, worked to his survival, and now he's a Shichibukai, for crying out loud. So, that may not last for long, and he may be targeted because of that. And I could definitely see him running with the pack just for protection alone. So, then we have Boa Hancock. That's self-explanatory. Obviously, she's tight with Luffy. Obviously, she's got things for Luffy. There's gonna have to be a reunion at some point, and if she wants that to protect Luffy from the government, and the reason why they had to separate in the first place is because they can't know about our connection, Luffy, because that could cause problems from Amazon Lily. But if she's no longer under Shichibukai, she wants, and she's obviously going to align with Luffy at some point before the final battle. So maybe she would side with the rest of the Shichibukai only to help out Luffy in the long run. So I could definitely see that happening. But let me know what you guys think down below. Like I said, I mentioned Perona just a minute ago, and I think it's going to be interesting where she goes if she finds herself on the same island with Blackbeard and Moria. Remember how Blackbeard was treating Bonnie like she at the revelry? So we don't know what's going to happen to her. I assume she's going to make it out of there, because a lot of people speculate there's going to be a supernova, a worst generation, alliance, all of them being on Wano. Well, that would have to mean that Bonnie would have to find a way to get off Mirajoa, because right now she got triggered by what happened with Kuma. She could side with the revolutionaries if she's no longer affiliated with their crew, so that could happen too. But much an island to themselves, because right now they're no longer with the crew. So that's one connection. Another thing is, remember how, like I said, Bonnie was kind of like, he was going to be killed by Blackbeard, or it's like, you're too weak to join my crew, but if you became my wife, my girl, maybe I could allow you to come with us. And Bonnie obviously said, screw you, I'm not going with that. In came Al-Qaeda, the Blackbeard pirates fled, and now obviously Bonnie's under prosecution. What if the same thing would imply to Perona? And before a lot of people say that she wouldn't do anything to put herself in danger, there is a scene in Thriller Bark where when Kuma is introduced, right, the Perona, she gets freaked out, but I'm not afraid because my daughter fruit affects everybody, right? So she was going to stand up to Kuma before she got sent away into Muggy Kingdom, right? So Perona does have some guts in her own sense, because if she finds out that something happens to Moria, she could really go off the deep end when it comes to Blackbeard. She could give the same response Bonnie could, and I can honestly see an interaction down the line between the two, but because there's so much similarities here. So let me know what you guys think down below. So I just think that's interesting. One thing I didn't mention, I don't think a lot of people are bringing up right now, is what is the status of Aokiji / Kuzan? Because number one, we know for a fact that Blackbeard and Aokiji have some sort of an alliance going on. Where the hell was Aokiji at Beehive's Island? Was he there? Was he somewhere else? Where the hell is he? He's pretty much on his own right now. We know that for a fact. It's going to be interesting. Maybe he's going to show up on Wano. You never know, because why haven't we seen him just yet? We know if it's as an association with Blackbeard. Finally, I got to give credit to Jorishay, because during his live reaction, he mentioned something that I didn't even think about when it comes to Mihawk and Shiryu being in the same chapter, because obviously he put two and two together and figured out that maybe they'll end up duking it out at some point. And if the prison, I'm only suggesting this because this is where the government and the Blackbeard pirates could benefit one another, because if the Shichibukai system does fall and we have the world government looking, okay, let's take these guys have gone rogue, the 7 warlords, they're going to be a problem in the future, so let's enlist the Blackbeard pirates to do something about this. And I can honestly see Shiryu being the one to try and take on Mihawk or Hawkeye. So that would be interesting if that does take place. Another connection, obviously, being the fact that they were saying in the same chapter, they're going to be future matchups for Zoro post Wano arc. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And speaking of Zoro, if something happens to Perona, and by the way, there's a good chance of that being the case, where maybe Mihawk shows up on Beehive's Island, with the same island as Blackbeard, if something happens to Perona, because he does have some level of compassion. Obviously, he finds her annoying, but still, he did let her live there for 2 years. So, and it's kind of like the same interactions that Zoro has, and despite how annoyed Zoro gets and Perona get with one another, I can honestly see a connection. So if something were to happen to Perona, I can see that scene being a driving, like Zoro would be pissed off. Like he may not show it, but he could definitely be pissed off, and that could bring up a matchup, and that would trigger and motivate Zoro to take down Shiryu. But speaking of which, obviously we now know he has the clear fruit. A lot of people speculated that he would be the one to attain Josu's devil fruit, like since they defeated what was left of the Whitebeard pirates back in the Payback War a year after the time skip. Obviously, there's been a long time. We don't really know what the Baby Pirates have been doing since, other than hunting devil fruits. We saw Burgess at Dressrosa. I highly doubt they've been just sitting on their hands. So maybe at some point, because Blackbeard is enormously different, and he's the only pirate in the New World that has 2 devil fruits, like I mentioned, maybe he enlists his knowledge onto somebody else. So you never know when it comes to the Blackbeard Pirates. So I just want you to think about that. Let me know what you guys think down below when it comes to like the Shichibukai. Do you think they're going to go against the world government if they go rogue? Do you honestly think the Yonkou could intertwine with one another on Wano? Let me know what you guys think down below. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Like this discussion / video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more One Piece. Catch you guys later. Bye.